Hello everyone, this is Dandy Dragon bringing you the finals from the last video of the tournament. We have the host from the tournament, Arena Emperor, here with us today. He dropped out of the finals, so someone else who was unable to make it due to some situations that came up was actually able to make it. So, Arena, would you like to introduce yourself here a bit and what we got
Yeah,
going on?
I'm Marina Emperor, also known as Sai. I do commentary for Dandy and for the Nomad AoE channel. I'm the host of this tournament for the Turin RTS Discord. It is a standard FFA tournament. The finals lobby will be taking place on the Halicarnassus map. It is a custom map created by Naniori, very resource heavy in the center of the map. Got a little water on the outside, so it's going to be very interesting to see how people play a map that maybe they haven't seen before or seen very often. We've got 8 players here in the final lobby. Starting in the north corner, we've got the blue player, my champion, who's taking my place because he didn't make it for the first round, but we love to see him in these tournaments, so I was happy to give him a chance to play. It is Hills, the old boomer himself. Gonna see if he can get his name on the winners list for the second time. To his right, we have the pink player. That is Emperor Jaren playing the Order of the Dragon, one of his favorite civs. He is very dangerous on Order of the Dragon. To his right, we've got our teal player. That is Serona. Serona playing his favorite HRE civ. Serona is a dangerous HRE civ. We might have a bit of a clash of old HRE versus new HRE here between Emperor Jaren and Serona. That's going to be really interesting to see how they match up against one another. South of Serona, we've got the purple player. That is Zerinium. He is going to be playing the Abbasid Dynasty. Love to see Abbasid. Tough civ to play in FFAs with only 2 landmarks, and it's not a particularly easy draw for him coming in next to Serona with the potential Burger Rush in play. We've got Ham Sandwich to the south. He's playing Roos. He was a devastating Roos in the preliminary lobby. He held off myself and Bromac for quite a long time in that lobby, so he is very good with this particular civilization. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in this one. And to his left, it is indeed Thromac, with whom he fought for such a long time in the preliminaries, renewing their rivalry. Thromac, normally a Japanese Chad, is trying out the HRE Civ here. I've never seen him play it before, but if he's playing it in the finals, he's got to have some skill with it. To the west of him, we have our red player. This is a top 100 ranked player in the world, a fantastic semi-pro. His name is Dragavon, and he is playing his favorite Abbasid Dynasty. I am very excited to see him play. He has come so very close to winning a few of these tournaments already. Is today his day? We're going to find out soon. But he is right next to perhaps his biggest threat in this lobby, the orange player, also on the Abbasid Dynasty. He is another top 200 level player. It is Quill. Quill, who has 4 tournament wins in the Turin RTS Discord tournaments, Season 2. Dandy, that's going to set up our field. It is a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you today hosting this tournament. We do have one other person here broadcasting the action with us. That is, of course, the incomparable Trips and Blips. Trips, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very interested in all that information that you've just dumped, and I'm keen to learn some more about actually what the rules are and how to play. I think I know them, but apparently my play style doesn't really end in success. So this should be interesting. I'm hoping to learn a lot.
Yeah, and we've got Hills playing the English today, actually. He is pretty solid on the English. Hills is a very underrated player. Probably a tough draw for him being sandwiched between Quill and Jaren, but England is a civ that you can kind of get by on. If you can live through the early game, they entrench really well. They've got double defensive keeps with the White Tower and the Berkshire that makes them a tough nut to crack. Um, so yeah, we've got a lot of interesting potential matchups going on here, Dandy. Um, this map, as you can see, a lot of wood in the center that you're going to have to chop through. There are huge golden stone nodes that you can chop through, so it may pay off to go heavy on wood early. Also in the middle of the map, there are relics, a private trade post potentially, 2 sacred sites. Everything that you could possibly want is in the center of the map. Dandy, you are a conqueror level player of this game. What is your strategy if you're playing on Halicarnassus against this particular field?
With this particular field, I feel the best bet you have is the first and foremost, get yourself away from the water's edge. Your positioning is actually going to be safer in the middle between your two canyon ranges there that you have separating you from like next to the forest, because not only will that give you a secure wood line, you're going to only truly have one flank for quite a while that can be attacked, while the other one is just going to be safe resources until you mine to the middle, which will also be safe until someone else gets there. And by that point in the game, you're going to be open at least 1 to 2 flanks no matter what you do. Now, that is keeping in mind that you don't secure the water, but the fact that you don't have any deep sea fishing on this map means that a long-term fishing economy will not actually work here. It's not like AoE2 where you could set up like a fishing economy just with those little net things. This is AoE4. You don't have that, so that's not a long-term investment. Now,
So what's the difference between shoreline fishing and the deep sea fishing?
so the deep sea fishing is going to be giving you an unlimited food supply. Shoreline fish will go away once it dries up, so to speak, once all of the 500 is gone. But deep sea fish, once you have your full upgrade on fishing, 2 fishing ships maintaining on it will actually never make it go away. For deep sea fish actually replenishes over time. So being able to get deep sea fishing is
So it's a
usually
renewable food source.
yes, a very
Deep
stable
sea
one.
is renewable. If you don't overfish it, it will never disappear. That's why people get on deep sea and they can just kind of leave it ride for a long time. Dandy, we're in the early game and we're already seeing some of the strategy coming into play. We have seen Thromac set up a very aggressive early palisade towards Dragavon, actually trapped in his scout, stole some sheep. A bit of an aggressive play from Thromac against our highest ranked player in the lobby. Quill is already setting up defenses in the direction of Dragavon.
Yeah.
You can tell that both of those players are very nervous about their neighbor.
Yeah.
Jaren has set up a forward Aachen to really boost that wood chopping, which I think is a great move on this map because it's going to get you to those center resources faster. And it's, look at all the resources in range of the Aachen. It's got that gold, the berries, the deer, potentially even that stone there right on the edge of it. A really great Aachen. Everybody except Zerinium has reached their feudal age. What do you think? We got a couple of potential showdowns shaping up already, Danny. What are you seeing?
So right now, what I'm seeing is Hills in the North has already decided that Quill is probably his biggest issue. Jaren, known for being more diplomatic and less aggressive innately, Quill is going to be your biggest threat. But if I'm going to check his perspective real quick, he does not know that Quill's other neighbor is Dragavon. So he doesn't have the knowledge that he actually probably doesn't need to fight Quill. Dragavon, as experienced as he is going to know his biggest issue is going to be Quill, who is the second top rated player in this lobby. And Quill, being a strategic and smart, experienced player, is going to see Dragavon as his biggest threat. So if Hills just kind of sits back, he's going to let those 2 tyrants duke it out. Sirona and Jaren are both a HRE Civ, quote unquote. One of them Udid, one of them HRE. They got to fight over relics. So you're going to suddenly see aggression between those 2. So suddenly Hills doesn't actually have a neighbor that should want to fight him more than they should want to fight their other neighbor. Meanwhile, in the south, we got Ham Sandwich, who kind of in the same situation, or kind of the opposite situation. Zerinium and Thromac are not going to want to dent off with Sirona and Dragavon, who they are not confident that they're going to be able to fight. So I could see Sandwich getting kind of double teamed between the 2, both wanting the corner, but not wanting to fight a top level player such as Dragavon.
I think we're seeing a lot of interesting strategies going on early. Emperor Jaren, the Order of the Dragon player in the top right here, he's already gone Castle Age, a very fast castle. He's gone Regnance, so he's going to be looking to get some of the relics. That's a smart play, especially with him putting the Aachen so close to the wood, because that's going to speed up the chopping and get him to the center and faster, where all of those relic goodies are waiting for him. And if he's the first one there, he can end up with 5, maybe 6 relics without fighting another player. You're seeing 2 very similar approaches from our Abbasid players, Quill and Dragomon. Dragomon is already on 4 TCs. Quill is already on 4 TCs. They are pumping eco. Although Dragomon now has started to pump out the barracks, I think we're going to see a flood of spears, probably into Thromac, just because of the early Palisade aggression. Thromac is throwing down the Burgrave as a counter, though. That's going to be really interesting. I like the Burgrave into the 4 barracks, because a Burgrave can keep up with production with that many barracks. The problem is, can he keep up with the economic demands of that fight? Thromac is on 2 TCs, but his Aachen is already kind of useless unless he gets up some farms soon. It's not as good an Aachen as Jaren had.
Yep.
Also, we've got our other Abbasid who's only on 2 TCs, and Zeranium was the last one to Feudal Age, so he's a little bit behind the 8 ball if Serona was potentially looking to fight him. And Serona also on 3 TCs already in the right.
Yep.
So,
but we are seeing Zeranium going for another TC. Plus, unlike Quill, for instance, he did go heavy into fishing, which kind of skyrockets you into a better castle. But obviously, like I mentioned before, without the deep sea fish, this is a temporary eco. Honestly, getting 4 or 5 ships is all you want with 1 dock. I think this was an overcommittance, you know. That is.
And we've got Dragomon is already sending Ghulams and Camels into Thromac. Thromac has his men-at-arms there to meet them. It is really just going to be eco versus eco, and I don't think Thromac's very long for this world. Dragomon has demonstrated why he is such a highly ranked player. He is absolutely set up for the Ghulam steamroll here.
Yeah.
I am concerned for our boy Thromac.
Yeah, I think he's picked a fight.
I've never seen so many TCs.
Yeah. What was that, Trips?
I said I've never seen so many TCs as Dragobon's got this early in the game. Not in my league, at least, anyway.
Well, he has a plan here.
Yeah, he went so heavy into stone. Now he's going to be able to keep pumping out enough builds to sustain this push. I think we're just going to see Thromac drown in a tide of Ghulams. Although Thromac is winning this early encounter, it's just going to be a matter of eco versus eco. When 2 players set up, flood each other like this, who has set them their economics up better, that's going to determine who wins the fight, I think. And Dragomon for sure is set up a little better. You can already see the tide has turned on Thromac, and it's gonna be quick. It's gonna be quick and painful.
Yeah, Dragobon's just secured that relic as well that was in the middle of the fight. So why is it so important to get as many relics as you can as early in the game?
The main thing with relics is the free resource, and especially when your neighbor is HRE, they get regnants, which allows them to get double gold from their relics, which is a huge eco bonus. But since he went Burgrave, his relics are no better than anyone else's. But no matter what civ you're playing, every relic is basically the equivalent, without Tithe Barns, equal to 1 Vil, or at least a high-level Imperial Vil. Or with Tithe Barns, it's the equivalent of getting 3 Vils, especially for HRE, who has probably one of the best Vil ecos in the game, compared only to Udid and Abbasid with the right setup. But this right now,
so effectively, a relic is going to allow you to reduce your eco population and gain extra military, right?
Yep, that or allowing you to field more powerful militaries, thus making more efficiency out of your eco and your military space.
It's worth getting as many as you
with
can.
a cheeky 1 villager Wololo on Hills, that's gonna make Hills a little upset, I think.
Yep, I think.
I see Quill's built a palisade wall in between Hills' stone wall, so he can't get it up.
Yeah, Hills punished that villager for that. I think he's gonna burn down that palisade, but now he's got to have a little bit of a grudge against Jaren, I think. We may see Hills and Jaren get into a little bit of a skirmish here. I think Jaren is set up much better for that potential fight, but we're gonna see. Also, the it's going to be a quick one for Thromac. He's going down. I think, Dandy, and you can tell me whether or not you agree with this. I think we're in a very key moment in the game already because once the steamroller gets going for Dragomon, it's going to be hard for anybody to really stop it. He's got Quill on his other side.
Yeah.
So much eco set. If he could raise anything to get into the back of Dragomon before he turns his attention to Quill, I really think this is a pinch moment for Quill where he could maybe kill his biggest rival here if he can take advantage of Dragomon being out of base. It does not look like he is prepared to take advantage of that moment.
He actually is. So look up to his. He's setting up transport and he's already producing Gulams. Unlike Dragomon, who was forced into an early fight, Quill already has all of his farms set up for the most part. He has transport ships ready to get in and get around without going through the palisade gates, making them utterly useless. And I don't think, like, I mean, Thromac being HRE with emergency repairs, he's got to keep. He's not going to die quickly. He, like, faster than obviously he would like to die, I think. Wait, oh, was that his last land? That was his last landmark. Okay, never mind. I take back everything I say there. I did not. I completely forgot he was not an Imperial. Yep.
And we are down one player in this lobby, Thromac, who eliminated a player and had a very impressive showing in the first round. Fell victim, unfortunately, to the overwhelming might of our highest rated player, Dragomon. GG, Thromac. Well done, Dragomon. Let's see if the steamroller keeps going. Is he going to go south towards Ham Sandwich, or is he going to sniff out the threat that Quill may or may not pose to him?
Quill is Imperial right now. That is going to be a big deciding factor. If he has all his military upgrades from University, his army will be far more efficient.
Look at this, very quietly.
However, Dragomon
is behind the palisades of Dragomon. If he can do this unnoticed, build a few rams, he has a chance to do serious damage to Dragomon while he's out of base. Yep. And Dragomon has noticed he's pulling back. We've got a bit of a race here, whether or not Quill can do enough damage to his eco to cripple Dragomon before he gets back to defend it. This, like I said, this is a very key moment in this fight, I think.
Yeah, and even just idling this much, like, Dragomon is not on a lot of bank. He's got like 1,000 resources total, and if he's idling 50, 60 eco, that is going to put Quill in such an advantage state. That is going to really screw over Dragomon. Like, the same way Prime getting attacked early with Quill coming in, Quill is doing the exact same thing again. He's found his biggest threat, waited for them to be in a weaker position, and he's capitalizing on that advantage. And if all these build skills...
Yeah, well, the big problem with that is Dragomon has so many TCs, and he's been banking so well that I'm not sure even that many villager kills. He's going to have all those villagers back out in about 2 minutes tops.
Yeah, he does. So, well, he doesn't have good bank. He only has 400 food right now.
Yeah, that's true. But he does have a lot of farms down, and he escaped most of his villagers to the right. So if he can win this fight, I do think it will come back very quickly. Bill kind of just needs to flood in here and make this happen.
Yep.
But this is the moment for him.
He really needs to get some mangonels mixed into his army.
As well.
Yep. So right now, Dragomon is in a moment of weakness. If Quill can capitalize on this, get some good siege, get some good military.
No.
Oh no, he's trickling the
Will
vills.
is making a big mistake. He's sending the vills in too late to build that keep. The Gulams are going to be all over it.
And honestly,
no.
Yeah, I don't think this is worth it. The vills are going to get massacred here. You're going to be losing a lot of eco. He is at 157 eco though. He can afford to lose this, but honestly, throwing away the keep. Yeah, if it goes up.
If the keep doesn't go up, then this is a terrible mistake.
Yeah, I think he, if he had done that when he did his first push, that would have worked. But at this point, that is kind of throwing away stuff. And the military from, like, Dragomon is still there. He's not actually beaten the army. And Dragomon is back on food, which means he can start printing this military again. And
this would This was exactly what Quill needed to do. It just, I think Dragobon's reaction was too quick, and I think it was just a really decisive attack or a really decisive defense for Dragobon that pulled it out.
Yeah.
I mean, the pinch isn't over yet for Dragobon. Quill is still in a pretty good spot, but it could have been worse, and he has managed. He needs to get this keep up for sure. He cannot lose all these villagers again.
Yeah, I think he needs to wait to put that up until after the mangoes get involved. Once the mangoes are involved, he can snipe these crossbows and snipe these men-at-arms. But until he does, he's throwing away a lot of eco that he's very quickly not going to be able to, like, afford. Because he's low on food, he has no bills on gold. He needs to be cutting through the middle to get to those gold nodes. Or steal his opponents. Now, this is good. He got the keep up. He's got the mangoes in now. Can he truly take advantage of the situation? Dragobon does not have a lot. He's getting some culves, and he's got crossbows. But if Quill maintains this pressure, as long as he doesn't miss micro, he should win this fight.
All right, not to take while that's going on, we got some action going on the other side of the map. Zerinium pushing in on Ham Sandwich, and he's got a pretty good mass coming in. It looks like Ham might have taken some damage. He has escaped some villagers away from the center of his base, trying to get a keep up, but that is a lot of units for Zerinium. This could be a very dangerous situation for Ham Sandwich.
Ham Sandwich actually sent some rams into Zerinium space, and Zerinium was prepared, ready to fight them off. I was watching a little earlier.
Oh, a good defense for
while Dragobon and Quill
attack them.
Yep, Ham Sandwich has sent some ships as well to harass Zerinium's eco. Sadly, he did not have the military, it seems, to back this up, or the bank to back it up. Bassett, one of the best eco civs in the game, competed only with by HRE and Udid and the like. So Roos, until they have a decent timing with their hunting cabins and all that, especially into Imperial, but this is actually kind of a weak point for him. And with his Gremlins going down, this is going to probably be the end of Sandwich. Now, obviously, there is no 100%. There's no, there is no situation where you can't come back from. You never know what might happen. But this is just not looking good. Same for Dragobon back over in the west. His farming economy has been taken off. He's down to 100 bills and only 42 military, and most all that is crossbows, which will die to 3 mangonels. This is looking really bad.
Will did a really smart thing. He made some of these Zebecs and had them surround the base from the outside. That cut off all of the shoreline fishing. He hit the farms first and got a keep up over it, so that's cutting off Dragobon's food. If Dragobon had any issue in the early going, it was going to be the food, or in the early going of this exchange, and Quill has really pressed that advantage. Dragobon's going for the farms further back in his base, but Quill has managed to turn this around after a moment where it looked like he might not be able to do it. We do have a surrender. Ham Sandwich has gone down to Zerinium. GG, Ham Sandwich. You had a good idea going in on your neighbor. You just didn't quite have the eco to pull it off. You were a big-time Chad in the first round, though, and congratulations on your performance here today. Big war potentially brewing in the east as well. Emperor Jaren is sitting on the border with Serona. Perhaps expecting that fight to come. Hills also has an army on Jaren's border, but he just went Imperial, got his Berkshire up. He has a very sexy-looking English farm defense going on, protected by 2 towers. I like what Hills is doing. He just needs to get some more eco behind it. But really the action right now is Quill and Dragobon. Quill taking advantage of every opportunity to push this in. It's going to be very hard for Dragobon to survive this. Yeah, Quill going for a heat drop on the TC in the House of Wisdom. He gets that up. It is 100% GG for Dragobon.
Yeah, it's not going to look good unless Quill gets backstabbed right now by like a surprise Hills army. with just a bunch of English Trebs. I don't see. Yep, and he surrenders. He accepts his fate.
Yeah, Quill did a great job of picking his moment,
And
and he
Quill is
manages to
also
take out
quickly
the highest
repairing a dock
player in the game. He's repairing a dock. Really smart move for
before
Quill.
it
That's going to
burnt
be
down.
some pretty cheeky trade for most of the top left side of the map. He's going to have a chance to absolutely boom out of his mind now. I would find it extremely surprising if anybody aggresses on Quill for a bit now, because his two nearest neighbors to the south are gone, and Hills knows that's a fight he doesn't want to take right now. If Quill's smart, he could really just boom and prepare himself for whatever his end game might be now.
Yeah, I would say right now the players in the worst position are the east to north corner. Like, you got Zerenium, who has his own corner now. You have Quill with his own corner. And I think we both know Zerenium well enough. He may be a plat level player when it comes to 1v1 ranked ladder, but he knows FFAs. He's played a lot of them. He's played them against a lot of high level players. And unless he does something to throw, which we all do know, Zerenium does like to dent off in the late game sometimes.
Jaren's cooking right now. Check out this little fleet up here in the north. He's cooking something. I'm not sure if he's cooking for Hills or if he's cooking for Serona, but I like this idea. I'm not entirely sure what the plan is, but I'm very excited to see what he's... Like, he's got to have a plan to be making this many warships, right?
Yeah, he has no gate between him and Hills, so my guess is not going for him, and the way it's aimed, it looks like it's going for Serona. He could go around Serona's edge, take out a chunk of the farming economy, and like try to slow him down and kind of fight under the Carracks. But I'm not sure, like, there's not a way to get into someone's base with Carracks. I feel like, honestly, one of your best bets is to cut your way into the base, get yourself 2 different openings that you can split push from, and then just kind of start flooding him from the woods and from the natural border.
Yeah, I think
It looks like Serona is going to be the first to chop through into the middle as well.
Yeah.
That surprised me, actually. I thought it was going to be Jaren, but Serona really put on he put an kind of expedited that process now, and if he gets to the center, he's going to have 3 relics to pick up, 2 sacred sites, personal trade to the center. It is really just a race to the goodies.
Oh, this is interesting. Quill's got his Zebex going out. He may be trying to remove other people's docks, or he could just be scouting here. But either way, like, him and Jaren do have control of the water. And yes, we do see Jaren is sending his boats to Serona and attacking from the shore.
Yeah, he could do some good damage to the farms. He can take out the main TC. He can take out that dock there. He can definitely put a hurt on him. More potentially interesting, if he were to sail down to Zerenium, right, and go down to where Zerenium's second middle dock is, he might be able to reach both the House of Wisdom and the TC.
That's a possibility, yeah.
There is a chance he can hit both of Zerenium's landmarks. Not that he knows that, but it's a curious thing. Quill now is actually in that exact spot with his Zebex, causing a little trouble. Meanwhile, Quill has units who are pushing up to the edge of Ham Sandwich's old base. Really, Quill is just doing a very good job of claiming as much of the map as possible. He's, letting some units explore that aren't really going to hurt his overall game plan if they die. I really think Quill is obviously in a commanding position here. I like what Hills is doing. I mean, he is taking advantage of other people's wars to just kind of fully entrench, go heavy into eco. I think Jaren and Serona's big war is for sure coming soon. Jaren is terrorizing his shores. Serona has to have some response to that.
Yep. I would have to agree there, but
And if Serenium sees that Sorona's landmarks are going down too, he might want to jump in and be a part of that war too.
yeah, like if you
And
get the
Sorona's
chance
reached
for
the middle.
He's done it. Sorona's in the middle. He has breached
Sorona's
it.
won the race.
He has reached Halicarnassus. All the goodies are his.
which is
For
nice.
now.
As HRE with the relics there, all the stone, he could really start entrenching here. And honestly, if as long as he can keep that Elsback alive, he could go for a Sacred Side victory at this point in the game. Let's check out his bank. Not insane. He's really lacking on gold right now. I think he is going to really attempt for the Helm's Deep here. Which,
Yeah, he has just reached El Dorado as far as gold goes, though.
yeah. And
If
he's
I'm him,
setting...
I would
Oh,
set
the markets got destroyed. Sad to see it. But we do see he is sending his military towards Jaren at this point, and Jaren doesn't have a land force that could compete with this. Like, he has the Karax, but those will not, you know, slightly to the left away from the water, and they're useless.
The production is coming for Jaren, though. I think he is ready for this fight to begin. I'm really interested in what's going to happen in this war. I think these are two pretty evenly matched players. They both known this war was coming for a long time, and now we're finally going to see it. I think Serona potentially reaching the middle first could give him the edge. But Jaren had a really good plan going for the water and harassing first. He did a lot of damage to Sorona's food, his markets. Was it enough? We're about to find out.
Well, and the nice thing we're seeing here is that he's using the Karax to get rid of a lot of the military on land. And at this point, like, he can just keep sailing those around the edge, just one or two of them, and continue to, like, beat down the farms, really slowing down Sorona's food eco. But to be fair, Sorona's food at this point is more than stable.
Yeah, and honestly, if the Karax go down for Jaren, that's almost better because he's going to get more land military out.
Yep, and he's going in for the push now. We do see the Rams are going in. They're just, it looks like he deleted some of his walls, and now he's going straight in for the fight. And let's check it. So Serona is at 61 military versus Jaren's 81. So Jaren does have the military advantage, and when the Culverin goes down, that is not good. That's your only answer to Mangonels, and Mangonels will delete your HRE blobs. And so will Gilded Landsknechts and Gilded Men-at-Arms. This is not a good fight for Serona. Now, I think he can hold this first wave without too much issue, but can he continue to, like, maintain that? He's not going heavy. Okay, he has switched over to the golds instead of the stone nodes in the middle, which is going to be good for him. He needs that gold to really keep up his economy, but Jaren is not far away from getting to the middle either. It will not be long before he can just start spamming horsemen into Serona's gold line and just kind of capitalize that situation. And
Yeah, we are on bank, and we're seeing just how strong the Gilded Cat army is from Quarter the Dragon.
Jaren's also found 2 relics on the floor at the edge of Serona's base, and he's now picked those up and is about to run away with them.
Yep.
So 2 of the relics Serona got for getting to the middle first are now no longer his own.
Oh, that's if he can secure them. Right now, he is fighting over them, and honestly, a good a Wololo right now is going to really save those pellets, as you can get them out of, you can force the fight away from them. So, but sadly, he does lose 1, which, honestly, though, this is definitely going the way of Jaren, as he has elite Gilded Landsknechts and elite Gilded Knights. There is nothing that he's throwing at Jaren's army that can kill it quickly.
No.
The crossbows are doing some work, but...
Yeah, pound for pound, there is literally no civilization with a stronger units than Order of the Dragon. So if they're going head to head with basically the same civ, the same size army, Jaren will win this fight every single time, unless there's a huge difference in army comp, and there's just not. Jaren's too familiar with this civilization, with this matchup. He's not going to make the mistake of letting Sirona completely counter comp him, and it is a slow. It's like the steamroller from Austin Powers at this point. It's slow, very slow, but can you get out of the way of it? I'm not sure.
Yep. I will say, and the big struggle for Sirona here is that Gilded Knights and Gilded Lanceknecks counter everything you can make as HRE. Like, legitimately, you go Men-at-Arms, they're going to die to Gilded Knights and Gilded Lanceknecks. You make Spearmen for the Knights, Gilded Lanceknecks will kill them in 2 to 3 swings. Like, you go through...
Sirona's doing all he can. He's got a huge mass of crossbows, which are good against both, you know, the Gilded Knights and the Lanceknecks, but nothing on his front line can hold really long enough to protect them.
Yeah.
And
now,
once the Gilded...
Go ahead.
That's going to be bad news.
So what would you recommend to protect them? What was your advice you throw into the mix?
It's a really tough call. Gilded Knights, the best unit against them is about as many spears as there are Gilded Knights, and crossbows or hand cannons, but just anything.
Yeah, with
that
the matchup, is it just numbers?
But yeah, it's numbers, because Gilded Knights are so much stronger than regular Knights. Even their direct counter requires almost double the amount than you would normally need to beat regular Knights.
But we are seeing the weakness of Udid, which is continuous fights. Due to the cost of their military and the fact that they produce very slowly, he's not able to just throw away armies as easily as what Sirona clearly can do, and he's losing siege over it. Like, this is not the situation you want, and you definitely need to get a Mangonels back in. Right now, you're beating your opponent is just Spearmen, Lanceknecks, and Mangonels to clear out everything your opponent has to throw at you.
I think Jaren may have made just a little bit of a mistake. The push was going so well for him, and for a while there, it just seemed like he couldn't lose. And I think he started really pumping out like cannons and units specifically to get the landmarks and finish the fight. I think he didn't expect that. Maybe he didn't expect Sirona's bank would be so deep. The crossbows never stopped, and eventually the sheer numbers of crossbows, like we were saying before, it's not that Jaren's units are worse, it's that Sirona just got the critical mass of numbers to finally overwhelm Order of the Dragon and push them back. Now, to beat them, it's going to be a whole nother thing, but because as you can see, Jaren's already pushing back the other way.
I was just going to say, Sirona's nearly mined out the 2 8,000 gold nodes in the middle, so he's got an extra 16k gold to support the army as well.
He's already spent most of it. He's only down to 1,000 gold at this point, and once that gold dries up, if this fight continues with the way it's been going, this will be Jaren's game. Like, he is killing a lot of those Men-at-Arms really efficiently. He's throwing out just wood armies supported by siege in the cannon tower, and like, as long as he doesn't like just waste units willy-nilly, this fight continuing to grind will be in his favor, as his opponent, their wood armies, will not be able to compete versus the late game siege and Udid spearmen. Like, these horsemen will get massacred. And the crossbows massacred. Like,
oh, here may be a bit of a reprieve for Sirona. Hills has finally decided to make a move. He's got 5 English Trebs hammering Jaren's walls from behind. If Sirona doesn't let up and Hills starts pushing into his base, that might be the straw that breaks Jaren's back.
Yeah, and this, which is bad for him. He was finally getting some really good progress in that fight. Sirona is basically almost out of gold. But here's the issue for everyone else. They didn't compete for the middle, clearly. And I don't think anyone's going to truly have the stone they need to wander safely. But now, we do have to keep in mind, Quill is trading for over 200 resources per trip right now with water trade.
Yeah, I mean, Quill remains, he hasn't fought in, 10, 15 minutes. He has control of a good third of the map. He's trading for a lot of money. Nobody's pushing him. It's really his game to lose at the moment.
Quill's gold income per minute is 3 times the next highest player.
Yep. The only player that can compete with him for gold is Zerinium, because Zerinium's the only one that has trade set up right now. And even then, his trade is not as good as Quill's. And Quill has, like, kind of embargoed Zerinium from the good trade node that he's trading to. Because if Zerinium could get access to the same trade node, he would be in a great position. But he doesn't have that access.
Hills almost knocked down the Regnitz, but Jaren did a great job of saving it with some Gilded Horsemen. And now the Trebs are actually blocking his units from getting out and fighting for him.
Yep. I think this is a mistake from. I think this is a mistake from Hills. This attack is 100%, in my opinion, throwing in the favor of Quill, as you're getting rid of, like, these two fighting. One of them is going to be dying, and you want the person that's closest to the fight able to make it. Like,
I think it's 50, right? Because Hills' win condition, if he is going to be to Wonder, and I think the only way that he holds a Wonder is if at least one of his 2 next door neighbors is dead. If he sees an opportunity to kill Jaren, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I think he's more likely to kill Jaren, who is denting with Sirona, than Quill. But if you can't kill Jaren, this is a big mistake.
Yeah,
and you're going to provoke his ire, and you still have Quill to deal with, and you're keeping Sirona alive. So that's just.
And even if he does, even if he gets the kill on top of this, what ends up happening is Quill has been banking very safely, very comfortably, and no one is prepared to handle him. Like, if you at least were, doing something to slow down your opponent, like at this point, I think the lobby needs to realize they have an Abbasid with near cross-map trade on water. Like, that should be the biggest and largest threat that anyone has.
100%. At this point, like, we have anti-teaming rules in these games where it is frowned upon to team up on a player if they are not in a commanding position, have a winning condition on the board, or that player has previously aggressed against the multiple players. This is 100% a situation where Quill's position is so commanding, it would not be unthinkable for the lobby to turn on him. Yep. Jaren realizes that he can't hold if this 2v1 is going to continue, and he does unfortunately go down and surrender. GG to Jaren. I thought that was an extremely well-fought match. I think probably he maybe wins that fight with Sirona. If it continues 1v1, it's just very unfortunate that Hills decided to attack when he did. I'm not entirely sure it was in Hill's best interest if Sirona and him begin to fight one another.
Yeah,
but
the way I
Hills
view
is
it
going to be able to secure the relics Jaren got though now.
Yep. Well, the thing is that Sirona knows that the other HRE player has the relics, so now he's got to kill Hills for them. Like, in my opinion, Hills just made himself another enemy when Quill and Zerinium are over there just trading, and you're not. Like, this, in my opinion, is 100% like a poor decision for both of them. And they may decide, though, it's not worth the fight, which does seem to be that way.
I think we just found an agreement here between them. Hills has pulled back, Sirona's pulled back, and I think this is smart because Hills needs trade. He can trade to Jaren's furthest dock, all the way over to a dock if he sets it up right on the edge there, the left side of his base, and that is a big trade line for him. Sirona can take the relics and get a decent amount of trade himself, and they can both start to get some bank to potentially fight back against Quill with.
Yep, and it looks like Sirona is, real quick, Sirona is taking over the middle right now with keeps. He's putting 3 keeps on each sacred site.
He's also set up trade to the middle markets as well.
Yeah, that could be a potential counter if Quill decides to build a wonder with that huge bank he has. If Sirona can entrench the middle, they could all potentially hold it against him, the Sacreds, to try and force a delete. So,
and speaking of Quill building a wonder, it looks like he's setting up his walls to protect it already.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's ready to
which
pull the
is smart.
trigger.
He may want to build it before Serona has a chance to entrench the center.
Yeah. Once the center is entrenched, he gets cannon towers, culverins, all of that set up in the middle. The only thing he has to worry about is keeping his elves back alive and holding the middle. If he can do those two things for 10 minutes, then it's his game, you know? He may not even wait for the wonder to go down. He may just go for it. Like, if you get 8, 10 keeps covering the wood line, your HRE, so you have culverins, so you can snipe trebs that are trying to kill your keeps. There's no way for Vils to actually cut their way into the middle. You're the only one with access. And he's walled off the route that Jarin made. So they would have to find that.
Yeah, Serenium isn't too
We
far
cannot
away
forget
from the
about
middle,
Serenium. Yeah, that's what
but
I
he's
was
still
looking to
too
say.
far to get in within 10 minutes, I would say.
If he were to
Unless he
micro
pulls more Vils.
his wood Vils very, very closely, he could probably get to the center in a decent amount of time, but really he's not microing his wood
It's not
Vil
guaranteed, is it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so at all. Yeah, nobody has a route to the center yet except for Serona, and he is having plenty of time to entrench. I do think Serenium has had a very long time to bank himself now, though. He's been trading to Ham's old base. He's got a lot of food, a lot of wood. He's got good gold. His stone, though, is very lacking, and I think that's going to be where he's going to regret not getting into the center sooner.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, he still has access to the stone and gold that is in the wood line next to Sandwich's old base. There's still a 2,400 stone node there. If he gets those gold nodes, he could still buy some stone, possibly, depending on their price. But 100% not getting those 3 or 4 large stone nodes in the middle that's an issue you don't want to be having. And 100%, we are seeing Quill he is entrenching the ever-loving crap out of this position. He's got mass keeps on his base. He's making towers. He's putting multiple layers of walls. But Serona, it looks like he's ready to pull the trigger. He is. Let's check out his bank right now. He's at 22,000 food, 75,000 wood, almost 1,000 gold, and a few thousand stone. The issue here is I'm seeing is gold. You need gold for these holds to work.
Yeah, I would love to see him get some boiling oil as well. That's going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as powerful as it used to be, but it is still key to this defense.
Yeah.
I'm just very, very intrigued to see what's going to happen next. Something is going to give, and we're going to have a win condition on the board in the next couple of minutes. And then it is the lobby's response that is going to determine who will come away with the victory here.
Yep.
We are 48 minutes into this. Serona is about to take a sacred. I'm going to ask for a prediction from the both of you now. Who do you think's coming away with this and why?
Right now, it depends on how quickly the teams can respond. If they go for the center, I think they lose this. I think the play is to kill Serona. You let Hills and Zerinium push the main base. Quill can then push, as he is actually pretty close from his wonder position. Now, that is not, I don't think that's going to be good enough. But he's also got mass Veils. He's got 33 cutting through to the middle. And if there's not culverins being kept here to protect the keeps, you can treb those down pretty quickly. You get like 10, 15 trebs. You just start whacking them. You finish cutting through. And suddenly, you just get a bunch, like just one tile is all you need. You get a bunch of men-at-arms or knights or horsemen. You dive onto that sacred site, and you're good. The weakness to this is the fact he doesn't have a landmark in the middle. And if they can capitalize on it... Oh, and see, here's a good play. Zerinium has decided to move his Vils to the cut away from the middle and towards Serona. What that's going to allow him to do is go into the least protected part of the base, which is the area between the middle and Serona's base itself. There's
he's setting up a tower here that's going to hopefully tell him how close he is to the center. He realizes it's not very close, and he's going right back to cutting into Serona's base like you suggested.
And he's going to use Serona's pathing against him.
That's actually a pretty clever plan for Zerinium if it works. He's got his army currently at the edge of Serona's base. He's going to push it just like you suggested. Hills is sending his army slowly towards Sirona's base. We're going to get a sandwich push on Sirona's base. I think what's the telling blow is going to be what Quill does. What exactly is Quill's response here? Would you
Hills has got
consider
some transport
loading up
chips
units
set up
on a
now as
transport
well.
and dropping it in the back?
Trade chips, rather.
Yep. Hill's got trade. He's going to get some resources. We see the Trebs coming in from Zerinium. He's putting in pressure now. And Quill, I think Quill, like, this is very much a Quill thing. He's sending mass vills. He's going to be clearing the wood line as fast as he can. The issue I'm seeing, okay, he is bringing in Trebs now too. This is good. They are doing exactly what I said they should do if they want to stop this. And yeah, if they pull this off properly,
It
there's
looks like
not.
they each have a plan of their own.
Yeah,
Hills needs some forward production if he wants to really have a successful push here, though.
that
He
is true.
cannot just rely on sending this army, especially walking at the speed of Trebs
Yeah.
all the way down.
Well, the nice thing about this is that Zerinium is the issue here for Sirona more than anyone else. And if the army is being pulled towards Zerinium and Sirona is getting attacked by Hills in the back, he's not going to be able to hold both positions at once. He doesn't have the eco bank to just go 100 military or 100 military on each flank. He can only go. He needs to keep his eco up. Basically, is what I'm saying. And that's not the situation you want to be in. And Zerinium, gotta love the cheekiness on this, continuing his cut through, just ever so quietly over there. And yep, we do see the Trebs. They are now in range of the keeps, it looks like, possibly. Are they gonna hit? No, they cannot reach. Well, let's see, can they cannot hit. They're just short. Quill going for a cheeky little attack with that Treb, I guess. All right, and we see now, here's the thing. Sirona has swapped a lot of his military to go fight Hills, but he's basically just funneling men-at-arms into a kill box. He's just throwing them away, and he doesn't have the gold to afford this. I think this was premature. Maybe if he had 10,000 gold and 10,000 wood, you know?
Maybe. I mean, maybe he does. I think the main thing that I'm concerned about for Sirona is just this chopper from Zerinium. He could go straight to the Elsback, which is the one protected landmark that Sirona thinks is protected from a potential invasion. He could also just turn left and go straight up towards the Sacreds with an army. I think if Hills can manage to tie down Sirona for a while, and Zerinium can raise a cheeky little backdoor force, he can undermine Sirona in a big way.
I agree.
And then after they do that and take Sirona out, Quill will drop a window and they'll fight again.
Hills has
That's my
lost
prediction.
his front line on his push.
Yeah.
His crossbows are doing a lot of work. His longbows less so a lot of work. Yeah, Hills is going to be out of this push very soon, I think. He's got the men-at-arms rolling in, but they have to run so far. Hills.
It's a long way, isn't it?
Man. Forward production.
They're
and then
gonna be
Mango's
tired
cross
before they get to the
Sirona
battle.
absolutely melted Hills' army, but Zerinium is broken in. Hills has managed to be just enough of a distraction for Zerinium to get in and really put Sirona under threat.
Meanwhile, we do see Sirona is now getting attacked in the middle by Trebs, so he's losing all those keeps he put up. And you know what? As a stone and keep enjoyer myself, it makes me sad to see keeps get wasted like this. Like, obviously, they're not being wasted in so much that they're providing a barrier that is slowing down your opponent's push. But, like, obviously, just not having a Culverin right here is making me sad. Because 2 Culverins could be sniping all the siege. But once again, he is poor on resources. And he's gonna struggle to really hold this defense. If he can do it, he can
Would
do
he
it.
be able to? Would he be able to get the Trebs with a Culverin though?
Yes, Culverins can shoot through wood lines. Funnily
has
enough.
got-
Even with the extended range of an English Treb?
These are not English Trebs, these are a Basset Trebs.
Oh, it's Quill. Sorry, my mistake.
You are fine. You
Yeah,
would think that
that's
the
a good
English have
idea,
the Trebs.
actually.
Serona has a massive men-at-arms that were in the center coming down to help defend against Zerenium. Zerenium has just cleared out a path into the center if he realizes it.
And not only that, all the housing is there too.
And he can get directly onto the L's back. Serona already has his TC down.
He's realized he's just making a new lumber camp now, and he should spot the houses and know that he's in.
Hills has sent in his men-at-arms and crossbows. He's putting a keep up.
With one villager, legend.
Yep.
All right, and the
Quill's
culverins
getting
are
closer
here.
and closer.
The culverins are
As
here,
predicted.
boys. So this is good. He responded to this efficiently, but at the same time, I don't believe his keeps have view of those villagers quite yet. They are just. This is why you always need a tower in those sort of situations, because the tower is going to give you the vision that your keeps don't, allowing you to protect that wood line way more efficiently.
Quill is getting very close, by the way, to breaking into the center. If he does, that might be the end of the Sacred Hold for Serona. How much time do we have left on the Sacred Hold?
I think he's got about 4 or 5 minutes left. I wish they would change that. As last I checked, Sacred Timer is still not added into the viewing mode.
Hills is sending in some more trebs. Zerenium coming with a push. I don't think he's noticed that Elsback is approachable yet.
Yeah. 2 minutes until Sacred Site.
2 minutes. A very impressive hold so far by Serona, but he is hanging on by a razor's edge.
Yeah.
And Quill is nearly through.
Quill is nearly through. The culverins are right there ready, but are they going to be able to do anything about the villagers?
The keep should kill them fast enough, but see, this is what I'm talking about. If he had a couple towers here along the wood line.
Zerenium's coming through with some mangonels.
Serona's down to 1 landmark.
It's the final hold, a minute and a half. All right, and now Serona has vision of the trebs, or the trebs have vision of his culverins, so he has to actually pull the culverins back. That is not what you want. You're losing everything. He is seconds away from this working. But if they make it to that L's back, or Quill just finishes getting through, then that's gonna be it. And honestly, 1 minute. 1 minute.
No, he hasn't. He just pulled him back. Quill is trying everything he can to chop through.
Zerenium's also there as well on the front line. There's one wall between him and the Sacred Site.
Zerenium is trying to rush up to the Sacred Site. Villagers are body blocking the camels.
Wait, what?
The camels are feasting.
I just lost viewing here. What the heck just happened?
Well, it's chopping down the last layer of trees. He's got 69 villagers and 5 trebs and a couple of mangoes ready to dive onto the Sacred Site. We are under a minute. Zerenium sees the L's back, but Serona gets a wall up at the last second to block him from getting to the L's back. But Zerenium has broken through onto the Sacreds. He's decapping. But does he have enough units to decap?
And Quill's broken through too.
Gulams are in. So very close, but I think Serona's not going to keep it.
No.
Zerenium with the decap, Quill with the decap on the other side. He's sacrificing so many villagers.
I am now attempting to get back up to the live stream. For some reason, my game crashed.
The decap is through. I'll keep you posted. The
Wow.
decap is through with under a minute, probably under 30 seconds left. Zerenium and Quill get the last second decap on Serona.
What a great hold.
Doing everything they can. That was an incredible
So
fight
close,
there.
Serona. Well played.
Now the question is, who has the next win condition? Hills has put up some forward production. It looks like he is going to try and finish off Serona, but he still doesn't know where Elsback is. And he might want Serona alive for a push on Quill's Wonder.
At this
which
point,
certainly has to be getting built soon.
Yeah, at this point, you need to have Sorona alive to push that Wonder position. Two people aren't going to be able to do it.
Yep, some villagers are filing into Quill's little Wonder hole.
Now, here's the real question. Can I
is-
catch up before the game ends?
That is a good question. Zerenium
Well-
is pushing in on Sorona, but they are hitting the L's back. Zerenium has trebuchets knocking it down. Emergency repairs are keeping the L's back alive, but now they're down. It is at 2,000 HP. The trebuchets are hitting. Hills is actually killing Zerenium's army. Hills is saving Sorona now.
Well, as your
You must
Hills,
know what Quill's cooking up.
you need Sorona alive to kill, Quill.
How
You
is the
can't.
L's back? Sorona's gone.
Oh,
That's
Sorona's
it. Quill's
gone.
building the Wonder.
Meanwhile, Quill's dropped it. There we
Quill's
go.
building the Wonder, and it is just Hills and Zerenium to push it. Quill has more than enough villagers to get that up before anyone else. No one else is even going to try. I'm not even sure if they have the resources to try. This is absolutely devastating for our champions, Hills and Zerenium. I don't see any method by which they can get to this.
I think their best bet for getting in would have been keeping Sorona alive. When you're at a 4% FFA point in the late game, anyone can hold a 2v1 Wonder or 2v1 Sacred for the most part. So going in this manner is like just getting rid of him. It just proves that you were going to lose, you're at least not going to be able to efficiently push. Now, obviously, if the players play correctly, Quill makes a mistake, there's always a chance. There's no game is over until it's over. But as it stands, I do not see this going the way of Zerenium or Hills based off what it was seen up until this point, or the point for which the game crashed for me.
So I'm sharing my screen if you want to watch that. Quill has left his army around the sacred sites so that nobody can counter victory
Obviously, yeah,
him.
that's just a smart move.
I'm currently only set up to stream through Age of Empires right now. I do not have the stuff set up to be able to record the screens from anything else. That is something that future Dandy is planning to work on. I didn't think I would need that technology so soon.
Quill has one potentially huge mistake that he could be making. He's sending everything to the center, and in defense of his Wonder, his landmarks are still right together, very close to Hills. Hills is getting out a mass of bombards. If he can get them in and onto those two landmarks, I know the House of Wisdom has 28,000 HP. Hills could potentially landmark Quill and not have to go anywhere near that Wonder.
And his town center's also reachable from the water as well if he sends some boats in.
Quill has realized he's pulling back to answer the threat of Hills. Zerenium is marching down after him. If Zerenium's smart, he's pushing straight for that landmark too. You don't have to go for the Wonder. Don't go anywhere near the Wonder. The landmarks are much easier target at this point.
I would think it's still worth sending a force to go after the Wonder, but focusing down the main base is probably your best bet, because either way, you either get the Sacred or you get the Wonder, and if you're attacking from multiple flanks, that is more efficient.
I think Quill is just too good of a player to split your focus. I think these two players in particular have to focus everything they have on one goal here. They both have currently a direct path to the landmarks, not to the Wonder. So I think that's where the focus has to go. Zerenium can go through middle, Hills can go through his own base, and I think you just go straight to the landmarks. That's the play here. Zerenium has taken Sacreds.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna get both.
He took one Sacred.
He's about to take the second. I can see his...
This is Hills' moment. Hill is fighting. Landmarks Hills. Landmarks Hills! You have to go for the landmarks, not the production. He has gets infinite production on the backside.
Does Hills know where his landmarks are, I wonder? I'm not sure he does.
He has to, I think.
He
I think he
doesn't.
saw them early on. Let's take a look.
I've just taken a look and he doesn't see where
He does
Quill's
not know where
landmarks
they are.
are.
He did not scout properly. He has to know they're close to his base, though, because he knows that Quill was his neighbor. Duranium has taken the second Sacred, and Hills is pulling back. He might be refusing to push unless Duranium decaps. Or lets himself be decapped.
Maybe I'll say this is interesting. If you are in a counter Sacred situation, if you're Quill, you probably have the bank to do it again, but you know they're going to come for you either way. The situation will not get better for you. You're just wasting your time. So does Quill go for it, or does he not go for it at that point? I would say he still goes for it. You don't let the decap stop you, as the fact that you are going to get 2v1 no matter what at this point.
I think Quill has to decap or he can't win.
Yeah, I don't think...
But right now, Duranium has the win condition.
Yeah. I'm just saying in the fact
Quill
that...
is decapping.
So decapping the Sacred Site is when you get the Sacred Site taken off the win con. The thing I am seeing here, though, is that it's very common for people to take Sacreds against a Wonder and say, I will let you take the Sacred Sites and take away my win con if you delete your Wonder. I think that's the wrong move here. The wrong move to delete in that situation if you're Quill, because they're going to come for you no matter what. Unless you can convince Hills that you need to kill Zerinium right away, as soon as you decap, you're just back to where you started. So you're not actually going to be in a better position. Either way, your only real win con if you're Quill is decapping the Sacreds and maintaining the Wonder.
Well, Hills is pushing in, but he is losing his siege mass. Will has gotten the decap. He is sending all of his forces at the immediate threat of Hills' bombards. Hills is pushing in, but it's just not enough. Will is massing, and he is going to run right over that massive siege. Zerinium heading back through middle now, but he has wasted precious time trying to defend that Sacred, which wasn't really all that viable. And now Hills, he is spending everything, and he's going to lose it all. He needs to rally behind his wall and head out in force. Hills just had a chance there, it just didn't quite work out.
But he did build that tower.
If I'm Hills,
Just behind the
my
wall.
play here is I would load my cannons onto a transport and sail them behind Quill's base. Because you can dent at this wall all you want, and maybe not get any closer to the landmarks. But if you can drop it from the sea, you might surprise Quill and have a chance to knock down the landmarks. Here comes Zerinium, though. He is bringing some cannons, some rams. It is not a killer force, but it is a force to the front of Quill's base. He has a chance to push in towards the landmarks. Hills' force has been beaten back. Trebs are on the way.
So Zerenium doesn't have vision of Quill's landmarks either, so neither player knows the location of them for sure.
They know that generally that it is not a wide base because of the way this map is set up. They each have seen that the mountains hem them in fairly closely. So they know it has to be somewhere in the middle here and not far from their field of vision. They just don't know exactly.
Yeah, Zerenium's field of vision is getting very close to getting sight on the TC.
Yeah, Zerenium is pushing in, but his front line is gone. Hills has a chance. He's got a lot of trebs. He just has to find the landmarks. He's found the TC. The trebs are hitting it. He needs to body block the trebuchets with his crossbows. He has 12 trebuchets hitting the TC. Quill has recognized the threat. He is trying to come back, but Hills is overwhelming it just a little bit with the trebs. No, don't pull the trebs back. Let the crossbows do their work. Hit him with the trebs. Take down the TC and then turn it on the House of Wisdom. Zerinium's attack has been completely cleaned up. This is maybe Hills' one chance. The TC's down. It's nothing but the House of Wisdom now. Can Hills see the House of Wisdom? He can't see the House of Wisdom now.
He can.
But he is losing his trebs faster than he can take it down. He needs a few good volleys from the trebs, but there are masses of siege for Quill coming back. You're down to 23,000, 22,000, 20,000.
That House of Wisdom has so much health.
The trebuchets are going down. The House of Wisdom just has so much help. Hills gets it down to 20,000, but he loses.
Serenium's about to arrive with another little push. It's not going to be enough, though, I don't think.
No, we are at just under 6 minutes, but that was so much res thrown into that push. Hills is sitting on an incredible amount of food and wood, but he is out of gold. He can only go for the Ramaconda at this point. The classic
Which is a Hill
strategy.
special.
If he could drop it in the back, there is a chance. But man, Zerenium,
Well, he knows where to go now.
yeah, he knows where to go. Zerenium's massing. He's got rams, just a few of them. Okay, more than a few. He's got, but not a bunch. He's got one bombard. He's pushing in. Hills is at, or Quill is at Hills' wall. He's pushing on Hills. That feels like a mistake. Zerenium's going in now. Only the House of Wisdom. His TC is slowly going back up. It is about a third of the way rebuilt. House of Wisdom is back up to 23,000. Here goes Zerenium diving for the landmarks. Hills is pulling her. Quill is
He's going to get it in time.
No, Quill is splitting. He's just sending a little mass of Ghulams in on Hills' base. Hills is only building siege, so he can't counter it. He's losing everything.
And Quill's quickly re-walling to keep Hills out.
But it's not working. Hills needs to build units, not just siege, or he needs to put the siege on the transport. Zerenium is pushing hard, but Quill, he has so many mangonels, and they are doing work. Quill's landmarks are almost rebuilt. Hills just has so many Ghulams in his base, and he's using longbows against them. That's not going to get the job done.
Quill still even has a few ships going. He doesn't have to delete them for the military population, and he's still able to hold it.
Zerenium's push has been absolutely shut down. Quill is pushing him back. He just has such a mass of mangonels. Hills needs to get those rams on a transport ship.
Oh wow! Okay, I have finally reached the point where I'm watching the attack or the fight between these guys. I am seeing something that makes me very sad to see. There is no water defense on the side of the map of Quill. If a very sneaky Zerenium has sent in like 2 transport ships full of trebs, he may have been able to sneak that into the back corner and snipe the prayer hall.
Yeah, Hills is building so many rams and he's just losing them. He needs to put them on a transport, drop them in the back, and then go straight for the landmarks rather than pushing through Quill's army. Quill has his army 3 minutes left, massed up around his House of Wisdom. He has 12 mangonels as the backbone of this defense. Here comes Zerenium with another push, but what can you do against that many mangoes? Not much, honestly. Hills just cannot produce enough units fast enough. He is making pure rams to go with his crossbows. Come on, you gotta find another route of attack, Hills. That's not working. Zerenium brought culverins. He's shooting down the mangoes, but the cavalry's on his culverins, taking him down. The Ghulams are just overwhelming. Hills with the ram spam now. Really ought to build something to protect those rams. 2 minutes now. Quill in a commanding position. He has completely cleaned up Zerenium and is coming back to deal with Hills' ram push. Hills just does not have enough force behind this. Really needing not to trickle
Looks
in.
like Quill's already spotted Hills and set their mangoes back
It
towards
is
the trap.
nothing but Rams. We are getting the classic Ramaconda, but it's too late.
Yep, from what I'm seeing here, they're making the common mistake of not, one, timing their attacks together, and two, not splitting from multiple directions. Quill is basically just sitting on top of his landmarks, and if this army had come like straight down for Quill, like from the other flank, then there's nothing he could probably do to truly hold the wonder.
Oh, Hills is making a mistake. He is just rallying to the landmarks, and all of his units aren't biting.
And we're down to the last 60 seconds.
Here comes Zerinium with the last push. He has 12 Rams behind his army, as well as 7 Bombards, 3 Springholes. He is bringing a potential death push. Hills is still trickling in the Ramaconda, but it is a little more like a Ram Garden snake at this point. It's not going to be enough.
Nope. It looks like Quill has shown that he is capable of doing this exact situation. He can hold a 2v1 all day, especially with resource in the bank. When you're able to secure that cross-map trade, especially as a Basset as well, for those who don't know, a Basset trade is the best in the game, bar none. The only one that can compete is the
Zerinium
Ottomans.
takes Sacreds, but it does not matter. We have our winner. It is none other than Quill, racking up his 5th tournament victory of the season in the Turn RTS Discord. This time in the Back to Basics FFA tournament, playing the Abbasid Dynasty. It is really good to see Abbasid win again. Especially in an FFA, it's not something you see every day. He took down the highest rated player in the game. He took down another player. He really secured his space well. And when it came down to it, he got the job done, stopping Sirona's Sacreds and protected his landmarks against a furious push by 2 players. GG's all around, Hills and Zerinium for the push. GG's Sirona for the almost victory, but ultimately GG's to our winner, Quill. Dandy, any final thoughts on that one?
No, I think we're pretty well covered here. You saw exactly what happens in a lot of FFAs. People are going to try to take out the biggest threat to them personally, and then set themselves up for late game trade, late game economy, try to get themselves put in a situation where they can afford a wonder position. And if you're not set up for it properly, like we saw Sirona, just even the slightest slip in your defense is enough to make you lose a wonder if these people know what they're doing. And all these guys are FFA vets. When it comes to pushing a wonder or pushing Sacreds, they do have the knowledge, but obviously the longer the game goes on, you're going to see people making mistakes. They're going to be exhausted, their hands hurt, they're tired. All these things are going to come into play. So the better, or the longer you can hold off on going for a win con, knowing that you can still go for a win, and not, like, for instance, Quill, like, not going for the wonder before Sirona went for Sacred Sites, means that he's going to be in an even more dominant position. He's taking the risk, but the risk pays off. He's almost guaranteed to be able to win.
It was a very clean performance by Quill in that finals lobby. Did what he needed to do in the early game to set him up for the long game, and eventually, when the time came to put up his win condition, he did not miss the opportunity. So yeah, tournament has come to a close. Quill is our winner. I'm very happy at the way it turned out. I think everybody played a pretty great game. We had a worthy winner. Can't ask for much more than that, Dandy.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Well, thank you both for joining me today. Thank you, Arena, for setting up the tournament for us to enjoy. And for all of those of you watching, thank you for stopping by and watching our tournament. We all hope you have a good day, and you all take care.